Well, that's very, very tricky. In part because I'm not a practitioner,
Oh.
so I'm a scientist, basic scientist. So I don't really study tools. Like I can tell you that the majority of the things that people talk about, they either, I mean, they probably all local. So number one is like there's no tool that works in all contexts, in all
Mm.
situations. It seems trivial, but it's true. You can't just. I can tell you, for instance, well, if only you were able to practice some mindfulness and distance yourself, decenter yourself from the situation. What does that mean? Well, take a step back, ask yourself maybe in critical moments, uh, what would somebody else do? Or what would the other self do? Imagine yourself viewing yourself from a third person.
Mm.
These are some of those things I've studied in my research empirically, and they do help in challenging situations in the heat of the moment when you're dealing with interpersonal conflict with somebody. They do seem to help a little bit to take this kind of broader perspective to approach things in a less sort of insular fashion where you expand your scope. But I would not recommend those things for everybody all the time
Mm.
because there are certainly moments in your life where imagine you're making passionate love to your partner. I mean, you don't want to distance yourself from that moment. Imagine you're playing a wonderful game with friends, or you're engaged in some kind of a sport activity that you really love, or you play guitar. I mean, you don't want to distance yourself from that moment. You want to be in that moment.
Yeah.
You want to be the self. So you want to focus on those experiences. You don't want to like imagine being this kind of abstract self, viewing yourself from a side. So in some situations it helps. In other situations it doesn't. And I mean, I think the true understanding of wisdom is to figure out which one is which.
Mm.
When you can apply one versus another. That's a very, very challenging task. So I don't know if I can tell you a general set of rules. I think, yeah, decentering that is the cornerstone of various streams of mindfulness practice, be it in Buddhism or in some ways it's also present in various yoga practices, um, or in other sort of more Western oriented traditions of reflecting on yourself. I'm not sure about prayer, but certainly sort of reflective exercises that sort of present in such traditions as Stoicism.
Mm.
I do think that they do help, and if you can sort of engage in them, if you practice this type of meditation, you probably will develop habitually this approach. But even that is context specific. I just talked to Sintel Segal about this, like one of the world's leaders in mindfulness research. And we thought about sort of, like this monks who in Vietnam or in other parts of Southeast Asia would spend a month in seclusion, where they will not be talking to anybody, where they would be mostly focusing on studying and
Mm.
less on the food will be limited. They're not talking to anybody, and so on and so forth. And so in that moment, they like show this incredible self-control. They're all devoted to the meditation. They are the masters of this craft of decentering. And then there are moments when they come back into the real world and they succumbing to all sorts of things. Not everybody, of course, but like this, the same temptations that we all succumb to. And in fact, what Cinda was saying, that sometimes probably anecdotally, some of them succumbing to more issues than you and I would,
Mm.
because they don't know, they haven't practiced of how to live in this world, because they focus so much on living in that secluded world where they are the champions. So what am I saying here? I'm saying that it's all context variable, and you have to be very, very careful. A lot of it is often in the balancing act about figuring out what strategy, what situation would help in this environment versus in this other environment that you find yourself, and figuring out what the difference is between the two. Um, but that is an ongoing sort of study. I mean, so I can't tell you because for every single person it may look somewhat different.
Mm.
But if I were to give one, I guess I would say decentering. and some form of mindfulness practice that includes the centering.